Say what 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise. Let me tell you something every high-value woman knows. Your morning doesn't just set the tone for your day, it sets the tone for your life. A high-value woman doesn't stumble into greatness. Not for show, not for praise. She wakes up with intent. She shows up for herself before the world demands anything from her. So, what does she do when the sun rises? What are her rituals? Say 10 minutes and do it, not for praise. Let's talk about the 5 habits that make her magnetic, powerful, and unstoppable. 1. She owns her mornings before anyone else does. Before the world can text her, call her. Not for so, not show, she wants for praise. Wants something from her, she connects herself. She doesn't check notifications. She checks in with her mind, with her energy. Whether it's meditation, prayer. Say minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. Oh, stillness, she understands that silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. Power isn't in being loud, power is in being grounded. You can't pour from an empty cup. Not for show, not for praise. And she never starts her day on someone else's terms. 2. She moves her body like she honors. She doesn't work because she hates her body, she moves because she respects it. Yoga walking. Stretching. Not for show, not for praise. Dancing in the mirror like no one's watching, because darling, confidence is a full body experience. A high value woman understands that her body is her temple. Strong, feminine, unapologetically hers. Not for show, not for, it's not about burning, it's about burning calories, it's about burning out. She studied emotion because she's not here to sit still in life. She speaks power over her life. Not for show, not for prayer. High value one doesn't wait for the world to. She looks in the mirror. She looks in the mirror and says, I am enoughful. I am powerful. I am becoming the woman I've always dreamed of. Words shape reality. Say for show, not for praise. And she is intentional with hers. She doesn't gossip in the morning. She declares. She commands her fusions with affirmatitude, with certainty. Not for show, not for praise. She doesn't chase validation. She creates it inside herself. She writes down her vision like it's already real. A journal isn't just a diary. It's a blueprint. She writes her goals. Say a walk for 10 minutes, show not for praise, but like promises, she writes what she wants, who she's becoming, what she refuses to settle for. Because a high-value woman doesn't react to life. She designs it, even on her worst days. Not for show, not for praise. She reminds herself, I am not lost. I am being redirected. Her journal is a mirror for her dreams, and every word brings a closer fight. She dresses for her future, not her fears. Say what every time you do it. Not for show, but a show. Not for praise, whether it's a boardroom, a coffee shop, or working from home. She shows her head on, clothes that make her feel like a queen. Not because of others' opinions, but because she deserves to feel radiant. Say for show in minutes and not for praise. A high-value woman knows that how she presents herself, how she prepares herself. It's not vanity, it's dignity. The first few moments of your day are sacred. Not for 10 minutes or not for praise. And they are the doorway between your dreams, and how you walk through that doorway determines the kind of woman you will be today. Not for show, not for praise. A high-value woman doesn't stumble out of bed and fall into her phone. She doesn't let the world's man dictate her first thoughts. Instead, you'll walk for 10 minutes and do not for show, not for praise. She claims those early moments as her own, before the world even knows she's awake. That stillness in the morning when is where she builds a clarity. She doesn't scroll. Not for show, not for praise. She reflects to let. She doesn't react. She breathes. She grounds herself with intention, reminding herself who she is before anyone else has the chance to tell her who to be. Her power starts in silence. Not for 10 minutes and do a show, not for praise. And not in noise, and in that silence she builds the energy that will carry her through the entire day. Because when you begin your day in reaction mode, responding to emails, texts, lies and in it. So say not for show, not for prayer, notifications. You've already handed over your power. The high-value woman knows this, and she refuses to start her day answer to the world. She answers to her purpose first. She may light a candle, not for show, not for praise. Sip warm water, meditate, or simply sit in gratitude, but whatever her ritual looks like, it centers her, it brings her back to her truth. The world will not try to pull her in 1,000 directions. Simalu say louder 10 minutes and do not show for prayer knows, but she can't serve from a place of chaos. Her stillness is her preparation. It's how she sharpens her intuition and fuels her confidence. While others rush, she aligns. While others panic, not for show, not for praise. She prepares. She's unshakable not because life is easy, but because she chooses to center herself before facing it. Leo for namizans and do it. Not for show, not for praise. A woman high value doesn't view her morning as just a transition between sleep and productivity. So it's a safe summon of self-respect. Every morning she's decision. Not for show, not for praise, to choose her peace over pressure. She understands that the voice she listens to should be her own. So she listens inward, gently asking, not for show, not for praise. Say, what do I need today? And how do I want to feel? She understands that her emotional frequency is set before her feet even touch the ground. She doesn't jump into a frenzy or do lists. Not for 10 minutes and do not for praise him. She embraces her rhythm. She nurtures her inner world so that the external world doesn't get the final say. And in doing so, she reclaims the power most people have forgotten to hold self-direction. Not for show, not for praise. There is no glory in being constantly available. No prize for waking up stressed and racing against the clock. Let minutes and do not for short for praise. The highly woman protects her mornings like she protects her boundaries. Firmly and unapologetically, that time is Emily's, not her followers. Hers, not for show, minutes and do not for praise. Because she knows that how she treats herself in those first waking moments sends a message to the universe. Her habits reflect her worth. Her rituals reflect her intention. Say and do it, not for show, not for praise. Her silence reflects her strength. She is not overwhelmed because she leads with clarity. She is not scattered because she begins purpose. Not for show, not for praise. And she is not easily shaken because she has taken time to be still before stepping into motion. She doesn't rush because her confidence isn't in how fast she moves. It's in how deeply she connects. For 10 minutes and do it, not for when show, not for praise. She guards her morning energy. She's not just protecting her peace. She's building her empire. She's aligning with the version of herself that doesn't chase, beg or prove. She creates. She leads. You're for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. She radiates, and all that begins with how she chooses to show up for herself before she shows up for anyone else. That space she carves out in the morning. That's where the transformation begins. Her do it, say a walk for 10 minutes and show, not for praise. That she breathes life into the woman she's becoming because she understands that success isn't found in what you do after the world is watching. It's in what you build when no one is. So, not for show, not for praise. When she wakes, she doesn't check for likes. She checks in with her light. She doesn't scroll through someone else's highlight reel. She sets the stage for her own. So you walk for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, for praise. She doesn't look outward for direction. She looks inward for alignment. This is what it means to guard your morning energy. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity. For us, a 10-minute show, not for show, not praise. It's the difference between drifting and directing, between chaos and clarity, between existing and elevating. The highly woman chooses to elevate. And it starts the moment she opens her eyes and decides. Not for show minutes and do as it say, not for praise. I rise with grace. Today I protect my peace. Today I begin with me. Movement is not just physical for a high-value woman. It's emotional, spiritual, and deeply intentional. Let Heneteng, not for show, not for praise. She doesn't move her body because she's chasing a number on a scale or trying to conform to someone else's ideal. She moves because it's an act of gratitude. Each stretch, each breath. Not for show, not for praise. Each drop of sweat is a declaration. I am alive and I honor this body. Exercise is not a punishment for what she ate. It's a celebration of what her body can do. 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. She doesn't cast herself into workout with shame. She steps into with reverence, knowing that her body is not the enemy, it's the vessel for her power. And when she moves, alright, you raise that for 10 minutes and do. Not for show, not for praise. She's not just building discipline muscles, she's building this presence. For her, movement is therapy. It's how she clears her mind and grounds her soul. Whether it's a slow morning stretch, not for 10 minutes and not for praise. A powerful gym session, a peaceful walk in nature, or a dance session in her living room, it all served the same purpose, to reconnect. She understands that emotion gets stuck in the body and through movement. Not for show, not for praise. She releases what doesn't belong. Stress, tension, fear, they all melt away when she chooses motion over stagnation. Her body becomes a sanctuary, not something she criticizes, but something she cherishes. Say your what 10 minutes in it. Not for show, not for praise. She moves, the more she listens to her body's wisdom, and in that listening she finds healing. A high-value woman doesn't seek perfection. She seeks alignment. Not for 10 minutes and do it. Say not for show or for praise. She doesn't force herself into a routine that feels like punishment. She chooses what energizes joy, what reminds her of her power. She trusts her intuition to guide her. Some days, say and do it, not for show, not for praise. She lifts heavy and feels like a warrior. Other days, she moves gently and embraces softness. But every day she shows up, because consistency is how she builds trust for herself. You walk for 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise, as she understands it is not about intensity, it's about intention. And that intention is rooted in love, not shame. She's not working out because she dislikes herself. Say not for 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise. She moves because she refuses to neglect herself. This relationship she has with her body is sacred. It's not transactional, it's relational. She nourishes it, listens to it, moves it. Plot 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise, and speaks to it with kindness. She doesn't mirror society's toxic ideal. She creates her own standard, one that's rooted in health, vitality, and reverence. Not for 10 minutes and do it. Not for praise. Her strength is not in how many reps she can do or how far she can run. Her strength lies in how she keeps showing up even on the days when it's hard. She is her own motivation. Not for show, not for praise. She doesn't need external pressure because her internal love runs deeper. She moves like she loves herself because she truly does. And when she walks into a room, you can feel it. That radiance. Not for show, not for praise, it's endurance, that magnificence, that magnetic energy is not just how she looks or she carries herself. Posture speaks volumes of bright. Her energy is undeniable. Why? Now say you walk for minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. Because she connected with her in the inner work. She's connected on the body, honored it, respected it. And in return, her body becomes her partner, not her project. She's not at war with herself. She's in harmony. 10 minutes and not for show, and that harmony translates into every area of her life, her presence, her relationships, her leadership. She doesn't wait for motivation. She creates momentum. She doesn't rely on guilt. Say you walk for 10 minutes and do it not for praise. She leans on self-respect because when she I am worthy of, I am worthy of care, I am worthy energy, I am worthy of love, and movement becomes her daily love letter to herself. Not for show, not for praise, not for the mirror, not for validation, but for the sacred relationship she's cultivated within. That's why her glow is real. That's why her strength is effortless. Say you'll walk for 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise, because it's born from a place of wholeness. She moves like she loves herself, and because she does, the world can't help but notice. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Say, let's say you'll watch and do it, not for show, not for women, not for praise. That a high-value woman knows exactly what she's planning when she speaks. She doesn't speak out of habit or doubt. She speaks with intention, with clarity. When she with pikes up. Do it not for show, not for praise. Her first thoughts are not random, they are rooted. She doesn't wait for the world to affirm her. She begins each day affirming herself. I'm powerful. I am becoming. Not for show, not for praise. I am worthy. These are not glitches to her. These are declarations of truth that guide her thoughts, her actions, and her energy. Laiseo for praying and do it. Not for show, not for praise. The way she speaks to herself in the morning becomes the way she carries herself throughout the day. She understands that her voice is a vibration, and her vibration attracts everything. Not for show, not for praise. So she doesn't waste her voice on self-doubt or comparison. She speaks life, not limitation. She doesn't say, I hope I can. She says, I will. She doesn't say, not for show, not for cheer, not for praise. I'm not good enough. She says, I am more than enough. Her words are her power source and she chooses them with care. To the high-value woman, not for show, not for praise. Affirmations are not some feel-good trend. They are her armor, her compass, her silent revolution against every voice that once tried to dim her light. And every time she says her truth out loud. Say it for 10 minutes and do it not for show, not for praise. She writes it deeper into her spirit. When she speaks with power, it's not just about volume, it's about conviction. She doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her calm confidence speaks louder than noise. And say her not for 10 minutes and do praise. She uses her not for praise as her voice to inspire, to lead, to uplift not only others but herself. She speaks from her future, not her fear. Even on her hardest days, she still chooses powerful language. This is temporary. 10 minutes and do it. Say her not for show, not for praise. I'm learning, growing. She reframes challenges into chapters of growth and setbacks into setups because she knows that every word she says becomes like in the foundation of her mindset. Not for 10 minutes and not for show, not for praise. She doesn't engage in gossip, negativity, or drama because she knows that what you speak, you strengthen. And she refuses to strengthen what doesn't serve her. Not for show, not for praise. She surrounds herself with people who also speak with purpose, who mirror back the power she holds within. Her conversations are not surface level, they're soul deep. She asks questions that matter. Not for show, not for praise. She gives compliments that uplift. And most importantly, she tells herself the kind of things that no one else at you taught her to say. Doing amazing, you're making progress. Walk for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. I'm proud of you because she's not waiting for someone to validate her. She's already done that for herself. When she walks into a room, you can feel her presence is built on something deeper. Say you'll walk for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. It's not the words or the way she wears, she looks. It's the power of someone who speaks to herself like she matters. Her energy is magnetic because her words are intentional. People are drawn to her. Walk for 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise, not because she's aligned. Her words reflect her self-respect. She doesn't tear herself down in the name of humility. She uplifts herself in the name of truth. In doing so, play every hour to not for show minutes and do it, not for praise. She gives sign, not shall, and permission for others to do the same. The high-value woman treats her words like currency because she knows their worth. She doesn't waste them. Not for show, not for praise. Every sentence she speaks is rooted in who she's becoming, not who she used to be. She's not perfect, but she's precise. And when life throws her way, she doesn't spiral into fear. Hawk for 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise herself with powerful truths. I've forgot this, I was made this, I am rising. Her affirmations aren't a performance, they're a practice. You walk for 10 minutes and do not for show, not for praise. How she rewrites the stories she used to believe. And because she speaks with intention, she creates a life that reflects power. One word, one belief, one truth at a time. Say you walk for 10 minutes and do it, not for praise. A high-value woman understands that her thoughts shape her life, but her written words build it. Every morning she sits with herself, not just to reflect on the past, but to carve out the future. Not for show, not for praise. She doesn't wait for inspiration or miracles. She creates them with intention, one page at a time. Her journal is not just a diary, it's a sacred space where her vision becomes real. Hot for share minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise. She writes her conviction, not wishful thinking. Her goals are just hopes. No hopes, they are declarations. She writes them down as if they already exist because to her they do. Not for show, not for praise. Each stroke of the pen is an act of creation, a message to the universe that says, this is what I'm claiming. She doesn't just scribble random thoughts. She structures her focus. Say it not for minutes and do it. Not for show, no, she starts with gratitude because she knows that abundance begins with appreciation. She takes inventory of her blessings, big and small, and reminds herself of how far she's come. Gratitude fuels her. First, say you'll walk her tenets and do not show, not for praise, centers her and opens her heart to receive more. From there, she moves to her goal, fear of what's missing, but in excitement for what's coming. She writes about the life she's building. After 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise. The woman she's becoming, the dreams she refuses to bury. To her, journaling isn't a habit, it's a lifestyle, a powerful, consistent dialogue with the future. Her journal becomes a mirror. Say it 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. On the days when doubt creeps in, when life feels like she's drifting, she flips through the pages and sees her own strength reflected back. Not for 10 minutes is not for praise. Her past entries are evidence of her resilience. They remind her of moments she once thought she couldn't survive, but did. They prove her growth, her power, her progress. Not for shocks, not for praise. She reads her own words and realizes she's been shaping her destiny all along, and that gives her the strength to keep writing, keep believing, and keep becoming. Because to her, clarity comes through writing. Say what's and do it, not for show, not for praise. And a vision written is a vision in motion. She doesn't rely on luck because she's too busy preparing. She doesn't wait for signs. She becomes a signal. Every dream she writes down becomes a plan. Not for show, not for praise, and every plan turns into steps. Her journal holds timelines, visualizations, purpose statements, and deep emotional truths. It's not neat or polished. It's raw, real, and hers. And in that sacred space, say yo for 10 minutes and do a not for praise. She allows herself to dream unapologetically. She doesn't shrink her goals to fit her current reality. She expands her mindset to meet her future. Her journal is where doubt dies and boldness is born. Say to efforts a minute show, not for praise. It's where the impossible begins to look inevitable. This daily ritual of writing comes her quiet revolution. While the world rushes, she pauses. While others talk about what they want, not for show, not for praise, she writes what she will achieve. She takes responsibility for her life by putting it on paper. Her journal becomes a contract with herself, a promise she refuses to break. Say you knock 10 minutes and do it. Not for praise, and that promise echoes in everything she does. Her energy shifts, her decisions align, her time becomes sacred, because once you write your vision and unknow it, you become accountable to it. Not for 10 minutes and do it. Not for praise. Short, a high-value woman never breaks the promises she makes to her future self. Journaling isn't a task on her to-do list, it's a part of who she is. It's how she leads her life from the inside out. Not for show and not not for praise. Her pen is a tool of manifestation. Her paper is a canvas of purpose, and her words are the architecture of her destiny. When others say someday, she says to when others wait for clarity. But for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. She writes until it comes, because she knows that the life of her dreams, it is built by design accident, and she designs us every single morning with honesty, with fire. Do rot in it 10 minutes and miss. Not for show, not for praise, and with fearless commitment to becoming the woman she was always meant to be. For a high value woman, style is not a matter of vanity. It's an extension of identity. Perfect 10, do it not for show, not for praise. She doesn't dress to chase compliments or filaments or follow the aging rules or trends. She dresses to who she is and what she stands for. Every piece she wears is a conscious choice, not for show, minister, not for praise. A declaration of her inner world. Her clothes don't define her worth, but they do reflect her awareness of it. When she steps out into the world, not for show, not for praise, her appearance speaks long before she opens her mouth, and she makes sure it speaks truth. She understands the power of first impressions, not to impress others. Not for show, and to do, not for praise, but to align her outer presence with her inner standard. She doesn't reach for what's trendy, she reaches for what feels like her. Her wardrobe isn't a college of insecurity. Not for shame and do, not for praise. It's a collection of confidence. Her style isn't forced, it's intentional. Even on her quiet day, she shows up in a way that tells the world. Say you walk for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. I respect myself. She knows she doesn't need a special occasion to look put together. Her life is the occasion. She doesn't wait for an event to wear something bold or beautiful. Say 10 minutes and do, not for show. Not she wears it because it represents how she sees herself. When she walks past a mirror, she smiles. Not because she looks perfect, but because she looks aligned. Rally 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. Dressing for herself means honoring the season she's in. Whether she's building an empire or navigating a storm, she shows up with poise. Some days that means sleek and structure. Other days, walk for the 10 minutes and do. Not for show, not for praise or flowing, but always authentic. Her style evolves as she does, and she embraces the transformation. She doesn't shrink to fit in one's comfort zone. She expands. You not for show, not 10 minutes and do it. Not for praise. Her wardrobe becomes an act of rebellion against not against small gains, but in self-respect. Because the way she dresses is not for validation, it's for vibration. She knows Vivaldi has a look. Not for show, not for praise, and she chooses to radiate excellence. Even when no one is watching, she dresses with care. Not because, she owes the world a performance, but because she owes herself consistency. Not for show minutes, not for praise. The ritual of dressing becomes her reminder that she matters. That how she treats herself, even in the privacy of her home, reflects the standard she holds. And when she steps out, she does so with presence. Not for show, not for praise. She may not wear designer labels, but she wears intention. She doesn't need loud logos or approval. She carries her confidence in the way she stands, the way she owns her space. Not for show, not for praise. Not people notice she's trying, but because she's aligned. Her clothes are tools, not masks. They amplify her message, not hide her truth. She uses style as self-expression. Tell her, say, walk 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. A way to translate her energy into something visible. If she's stepping into leadership, she dresses like the leader she is. If she's entering a creative space, she lets her out reflect her spark. Not for show, not for praise. She's not afraid to be bold or minimal or both, because she's not stuck in anyone's idea of beauty. She creates her own, and by doing so, she gives others silent permission to do the same. Her attempt isn't do it, not for show, not for praise. Her fashion is her signature, unique, evolving, and unbothered by comparison. A high-value woman doesn't dress to be liked. She dresses to be true. Every time she gets dressed, not for show, not for praise, she reinforces the truth that she is worth showing up for. She treats herself like someone important because she is. Her style becomes her shield, her statement, and sometimes her soft place to land. For 10 minutes and do it, not for show, not for praise. She doesn't just wear clothes, she wears confidence, clarity, and self-worth. The world may try to box her in, but she refuses to blend in where she's born to stand out. Not for show night. Walk for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. And the beauty of it all is that she doesn't need anyone's permission, decided permission to share that to herself the moment she decided to dress for her standards and no one else's every morning. Do it not for show, not for praise. Before the world even opens its eyes, she makes a decision, quiet, powerful choice to choose herself. Not in arrogance, not in selfishness, but in sacred self-respect. Walk for 10 minutes and do it. Not for 10 minutes and not for praise. She'll wait for someone else to validate her worth. She doesn't validate her worth. She doesn't social media to find pieces of herself if herself is intention. She rises in clarity. But 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. She claims the day like it belongs to her, because it does. Confidence not she stumbles, something she steps upon, it's something she steps into. It's a habit, a mindset, a quiet promise she keeps to herself. Not for show, a 10-minute do it, not for praise. Before the noise of the world comes rushing in, she centers herself in the truth that she is already enough. She understands that being a high-value woman isn't a title. It's a lifestyle. Say a walk for 10 minutes and do it in, not, it's a series of small, deliberate choices made over and over again. When she opens eyes, she doesn't wonder who will approve her today. She asks herself, how can I honor my growth? He walks 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. How can I stand in my power? She doesn't wait for life to hand her opportunities. She creates them. She doesn't seek permission. She gives it to herself. Kotemi do it. Not for show, not for praise. Every sunrise is her reminder that she's not here to survive another day, but to thrive in it. She chooses to show up boldly, not because she's fearless. Rock for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise, but because she's anchored in something deep and fierce self-worth. There's a quiet power in a woman who chooses herself unapologetically. She doesn't hustle for attention or compete for validation. 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. Her power isn't loud, but it's undeniable. It's in the way she speaks with certainty. It's in the way she walks with presence. It's in the way she holds herself. Not above others, but above the noise. Zatame not for show, not for praise. She's not here to please everyone. She's here to honor her truth. And honoring herself means saying no when needed, saying yes when matters. Say you ought for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. And saying life I deserve better when she outgrows versions of herself. Choosing herself is not a one-time dation. She knows there will be days when doubt creeps in. Say or resonance and minute do it. Not for show, not for praise, when the world tries to make her feel small, when people project their insecurities onto her glow. But even then, she returns to herself. She doesn't allow outside voices to dictate her inner peace. Not for show, not for praise. She remembers who she is, woman of value, of depth, of unshakable grace. In those moments, instead of collapsing, she rises. She looks herself in the mirror and speaks life. Minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. She grounds herself in rituals, in self-care, in truth. Her confidence doesn't waver because it's not dependent on applause. It's rooted in daily devotion to her growth. Not for show, not for praise. Choosing herself means she takes full ownership of her journey. She no longer waits for rescue, nor does she blame the world for where she's not. She takes responsibility, not out of pressure. Not for show, not for praise, but out of power. She creates boundaries not to push people away, but to protect the energy she's built. She invests in herself, her health, her passions. Say you'll walk for 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise, her peace, because she knows she's worth every ounce of effort. She doesn't water herself down for comfort. She doesn't shrink to fit. She takes single mornings. Every asks herself. Say you'll act 10 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. How can I become more of who I truly am? And then she follows through. This is a match, a magic, not for presence, not popularity, but purpose. Say you'll 11 minutes and do it. Not for show, not for praise. She chooses herself not because she thinks she's better than anyone, but because she finally understands she'd have to be less to be loved. She shows up for herself in every way. Mentally, saying do not for show, not for praise, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. She walks in each day like it's a stage in a sanctuary, knowing she belongs in both. Because once someone learns to choose self without guilt, Lena, say you walk for show, not for praise. She becomes unstoppable. She becomes magnetic for every single morning. She rises not hoping for confidence, but wearing it like armor, like art, like destiny. Every habit, every intention. Hot for show, for 10 minutes and do it. Not show, not for quiet decisions. She makes decisions each morning is a reflection of the woman she's chosen to become. A high-value woman doesn't wait for the world to give her permission. She gives it to herself daily. Not for sheminity, not for praise. She understands that greatness isn't found in grand moments, but in the small, consistent choices made before the world even stirs. She honors her energy, moves with love, speaks with power. Not for show, not for praise. Writes her destiny dressed with purpose, and above all, she chooses herself again and again. Her morning isn't just a routine, it's a sacred declaration of self-worth. And as she rises with the sun, not for show, not for praise. She doesn't just prepare for the day, she claims it. Not as a woman trying to prove something, but as a woman who knows exactly who she is.